Hi, my name's Robin Kelly, and I'd like to talk to you about Active Controller Technology, or ACT for short, which is one of the exciting new features inside of Sonar 6 Producer and Studio Edition. Let's go ahead and take a look. As you can see, I have a file open inside of Sonar 6, and I'm using Zeta today. Zeta is a great plugin that's available from Cakewalk, and in the past, if I wanted to use that with my PCR80 controller, I'd have to go ahead and right-click and set up a MIDI learn for each control that I wanted to automate or remote control. And then I could go ahead and use the synth. Now the problem would arise if then I wanted to use another effect and I didn't want to start using my mouse but keep using the controller, I'd have to go ahead and set up a remap again. That's not very fun or conducive to the creative process. So this is where ACT comes in. I'll leave these two windows open but actually open up the ACT dialog box. And from here you can actually see a rendering of what the different knobs and sliders of my PCR series keyboard are doing inside of the software. So if I go ahead and click on Zeta, you'll see that now all the controls, or the rotaries and the sliders, are remapped to the controls inside of Zeta. So again, if I go ahead and grab a controller, I'm now changing the cutoff. And as you can see, the ACT dialog box is updating. Now if I want to go ahead and change my modulator or my phaser, I can go ahead and do that. And again, I can change my delay time just by grabbing that same control. I don't have to worry about setting up and remapping. So in practice, this is very, very easy to use. Now this is the large transport, one of the new enhanced features for Sonar 6. Although I like it very much, I don't have to use it. In fact, I've locked part of my PCR series keyboard to the transport controls, so I can go ahead and move this out of the way. The L1, 2, and 3 buttons are actually set to rewind, stop, and playback, so I can actually go ahead and stop, press play, and now my song starts playing. At this point, I can go ahead and click on Zeta, and I can start playing over the top of it. Excellent. Let's go ahead and stop. And let's move on. So, I think you get the basic concept of ACT now. Wherever I click inside of the software, the hardware will follow. So what I'm going to do is move the ACT dialog box out of the way and show you a few more little features inside of ACT. So what I'd like to do is actually open up the console view. From the console view, I can actually work on banks of tracks or a single track. If I wanted to work on a bank of tracks, I can actually use the sliders on my control surface as a mixing control surface and change different volumes and pans. Very easy to do. Or I can select a single track strip. I'll just go ahead and do that by clicking on it, and perhaps the EQ. So let's go ahead and play that. So at this point I can actually go ahead and change the EQ frequencies and also change the gain directly from my control surface. And speaking of drums, maybe I want to go ahead and use the session drummer.